When there's no more room in hell, the dead will listen to Bloodfest, the podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to Bloodfest the podcast. I'm your host, Nate. Y'all know me, know what I do for a living. So tonight I'm joined, as always, by Casey. Casey, how the hell's it going?
I'm tired as fuck. I made the mistake of taking a nap earlier
What?
because I'm old and shit.
Wow.
So,
Why would you do that? I
nah,
got I got up at 3 a.m. and I said, fuck it. Just gonna stay awake. Take some more
yeah,
drinks and let's go.
my sleep schedule's all fucked up. Friday night I stayed up until 4:30 and then woke up at 8:30.
No, that's fine.
So
That's
yeah,
fine. And as always, I'm joined by my old buddy Josh. Josh, you sexy bastard. How's it going up there in KC?
Hey, I'm doing a whole lot better than Casey, and you can't tell me different. Because I'm delusional.
You had some of my drugs, I take it.
Only the good ones.
Yeah. And I'm joined by this weird fucker over here, Joey, who refuses to be on camera because if you saw his face, the thirst would eat you alive. Joey, how we doing?
I'm not doing as bad as Casey, but I'm alive.
That's all you can do. Okay, for everybody just joining us, what you saw just a moment ago was the video for Mothman by the Eye Creatures. And we played that because, as a special treat tonight, we're joined by the Eye Creatures. Imagine that. Hey, guys, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Hey.
All right, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. We're happy to have you here. So I figured first thing is I'd have each of you say hi to the audience and tell them what you do in the band. Mac?
Mac, you go first.
My name's Mac. I started out playing lead guitar in Eye Creatures, but now I play bass.
How do you do that? How do you go from lead guitar to bass? Why that change?
Well, we started as a 4-piece. Some things that occurred ended up going to a 3-piece. Talked about playing shows, having a fill-in bassist or getting another bassist, and we've just rolled as a 3-piece thus far. So
okay.
I don't know.
First step is to set down the guitar and then pick up the bass.
Yeah, but don't you need more finger strength for the bass? Don't you have to?
Oh, for
You
sure.
are not wrong.
Yeah.
I've got little hands.
And
I did bass. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
What's up, everyone?
Around the circle, so.
I was just going to say, I did bass for like 1 or 2 shows, and it is tough.
Yeah.
Especially doing bass and singing at the same time. So anyone who does that is an amazing musician.
Anyways, my name's Mikey. I play drums for Eye Creatures. So, yeah.
All right. and that leaves Luke, man. What do you do in the band?
What's up? I'm Luke. I sing and I play guitar. I actually started out as the drummer, but then we couldn't find a vocalist for the longest time, and we were like, fuck it. Let's get Mikey in the band to play drums, and I'll just like yell, and then eventually the yelling evolved into singing, which is cool because now I can do both.
Outstanding. I like it. So how'd you guys get started? How'd you get together?
Well, I mean, I guess it. How did we really start, Luke? It was you, me, and Dalton back when. Probably 6 years ago, Luke and I had moved into a house together. My buddy Dalton that I had went to school with and worked with over at a restaurant, we hooked up. I played guitar at the time. He played bass. So we just kind of started riffing together. Luke played drums. And those jam sessions kind of just morphed into like 2 iterations of the band. And then eventually what we are now. So we played around with a couple of third guitarist situations, and beyond that, just.
I had met Mac through college. I mean, we had gone to the same we'd gone to Joplin High School and stuff, but we didn't really know each other back then. We had a science class together in college and started hanging out, playing board games, that kind of thing, and then eventually became roommates because I wasn't getting along with my current roommate situation. And then, yeah, Mikey started coming over. I met him through a drumline tryout because when I went to Missouri Southern, I was playing snare drum on the drum line. And Mikey came to one tryout and never came back again.
He had him a Sugar shirt on.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you like heavy metal? He's like, oh, love heavy metal. Kicked it off right then.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was meant to be. And then we exchanged numbers after we saw each other at Walmart. We're like, "What's up, man?" And so he played drums in my other band, which is kind of not really super active right now, but we were called Desolate Earth. And after a while, I was like, "Well, shit, I might as well have him play drums in both bands because, we need a drummer."
It worked out.
And he's a hell of a drummer. We read each other super well. Like I feel like it's just not even having to like talk about it and just communicating through music kind of shit.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious about, so you guys have a horrorcore kind of thing going on, and so did you think, let's make a band that will make those kinds of songs and then put yourselves together, or did you say let's have a band and now let's figure out what we're gonna do? I mean, how's that work?
I feel like in the beginning we knew we wanted to kind of write more like psychedelic type music, and it's kind of strayed more away from sort of that into rock and more punk rock on some tracks. So
I think a lot of our time spent together when we first started hanging out is just like smoking and watching bands and all these like just all these live performances of like all these different genres, and just kind of like, we want to do this so bad, and like watching like a lot of like, I feel like that was around the time that like the NPR Tiny Desk concerts became like really popular, and the KXP performances. A big influence for us was King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, which is Australian psych punk, or not punk but psych rock, kind of mixture of a lot of different things. They kind of do whatever genre they feel like, but that was kind of a big influence for us. We're like, we want to do something like that, and then sort of like just kind of jamming whatever comes naturally. And then I think when we got to like writing that first album, we kind of decided like, this one's going to be all about like cryptids and like conspiracy theories and like a little bit of horror here and there, like just kind of just like telling stories, like fictional dark kind of stories.
Yeah.
Awesome. So who chose the name?
That was actually Dalton. I think so, right? He was the one who brought it to the table.
Yeah.
That's definitely he and I had come across this. Well, he actually, I think, originally came across it. He showed me this YouTube channel that was just re-uploads of any monster movie you could think of through however long of a span of time. And he had come across a 50s release and a 60s release of Attack of the Eye Creatures. Mm-hmm. And he showed me, I want to say the 50s release or to begin with. And both are just equally boring, goofy messes of movies. Like they're nothing special by any means.
They're bad.
as soon as we watched it and that name was kind of brought up, it was like, well, I mean, I can't think of anything better. Maybe we are the Eye Creatures.
Yeah, it's mainly just a good, like, it was like a name that was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I'm surprised this isn't taken. Let's, and to be honest, at first I was a little skeptical about it. I was like, I don't know, Eye Creatures. And then we sat with it for a while and I was like, actually, this is pretty badass because it's kind of fluid. You can use it in different situations that mean different things by it.
Yeah, awesome. So, my other weirdos, I know you guys have some questions for the band before we get on to the movie.
Well, I just wanted, you guys actually have a gig coming up in March at Blackthorn, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing St. Patty's Day at Blackthorn with Brutally Frank, which, if you don't know, is the owner Mel Wamble and her husband Steve. They're in that band, and they're kind of like a psychobilly, I think you would call it. Kind of punk mixed with like some 50s vibes, and the like Steve plays like an upright bass, and sometimes
high chance of Steve riding his upright bass while he's playing it.
Yeah,
amazing.
And Melanie, the owner, plays drums, and sometimes she plays drums and sings at the same time. Just like, again, really
she's amazing.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty big turnout, and I'm going to get drunk and just fucking have a good time.
Good night.
I'm looking forward to it.
So you guys play a lot of gigs, don't you? It seems like I see your gigs advertised constantly. Where are you?
I feel like we play a lot of gigs for a band that doesn't actually like do real tours because we
Yeah.
all have like 40 plus hours a week at work. Plus Mikey has kids and like we just got a lot of stuff. Like music is not like our main source of income. We still try to play as much as we can. Like I think we probably played like a good 12 shows like in the fall, like the last half of last year, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Nice.
Yeah.
I try to keep the booking rolling, as much as we can, or do, without like sacrificing, mental health and whatnot.
Yeah.
Luke is incredible when it comes to pulling this all together for us.
He is.
So
He's
you-
the man.
Try.
So you, as well as being in the band, you're also kind of the manager. Is that the deal? You're out there.
In a way, yeah, I'd say I'm kind of I don't like call myself a manager, but I do all the booking and like a lot of planning and stuff like that. But not to say that the other guys don't contribute a lot. Mac especially is he's basically the band's producer. Like he does all the audio. Like we try to do everything in house that we can. So
Mhm.
like audio, video, flyers, any chance. Like we do like to work with other artists just because it's awesome to get their perspectives and their style, and like just some people are way better artists than us, so it's like it's cool, to like collaborate with people. But like we also don't like to, I guess, because of the fact that it's like not we don't have like some record label breathing down our necks, and this is, even though it's like, to me it's like a second job and it's extremely important, it is still, in a way, it's like a hobby, I guess you could say. So we're like,
Yeah.
if that's where we're at, then we might as well just take our time and do it the way we want to do it, not let anything else influence that, and just kind of, yeah. And plus, like, learning new skills is always awesome. Like
This has been incredible for that alone, almost. Like my tool palette has expanded because of being in this band with you guys. And
it's kind of like when you fix something in your car, fix something in the house instead of calling someone else to do it.
Yeah.
It's fun sometimes, but you can't always.
Put a new faucet in the sink, and now my whole thing is every time I'm in a house, I'm like, I could replace that faucet.
That confidence is there.
Now, Luke, I work with your brother Levi, and I know he's a musician as well, saxophone and whatnot. So,
Yes.
So you grew up with music.
Oh, 100%. I have, my whole family is musical. Like oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of what Levi was saying, that you grew up in a very musical family with a lot of history. Is that how you
Yeah.
got into it?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's mainly my mom is what got me into it. She's a piano teacher, and when I was like probably like first grade or something, she started teaching me piano, and she taught me like music theory. Like I had like little worksheets, and I fucking hated it. Like it was such a pain in the ass. And then like I think third grade, my grandma found an old violin at a garage sale and was like, "You play violin now." And so I was in orchestra up until freshman year, or up until sophomore year of high school. When I moved to a school that didn't have an orchestra, that's why I joined drumline, because I was like, I have to be in like some kind of musical ensemble at all times, pretty much. So
Have you dabbled in saxophone, or is that all Levi?
I don't know any wind instruments. All I know is stringed instruments and percussion, and most recently I can kind of sing. But yeah, my mom's a really great piano player, and let's see here. Yeah, Levi is an insanely good saxophone player. He has a master's degree from UMKC, and he plays with. If you're ever interested in seeing like live jazz, he plays with Jomo Jazz, which is a combo of him and some of his classmates from college, and they're just so good. Their drummer, his name's Ray. He's from the Bahamas. He was like an exchange student to Missouri Southern, and I got to play drums with him in percussion ensemble, and that motherfucker, every drum he touches is just turns to gold. So I recommend them a lot. My sister is a music teacher and a vocalist, and my other brother Gil is he plays guitar, and he used to play banjo. Like, so just, yeah, music all around the family. Sorry if that was too long of a
No, not at all. Not at all. Do you play banjo? Any of you guys play
No,
banjo?
yeah.
I do.
I play mandolin.
Wish.
Oh, mandolin. Okay, that's good. I would kill to be able to play banjo. I think it's the greatest
Yeah.
instrument in the world.
You do a great job at
It
the
is.
flute.
Oh, fuck. You're not supposed to tell anyone that. Look, I was gonna reveal things later, and you just. I play. So I don't know if any of these other idiots play any instruments. I play guitar, and
Nice.
I tell people that I play prison blues because I'm behind a few bars looking for a key. So I'm not good. I'm not good at all, but
You don't have to be good to enjoy it, though.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's got
fun.
yourself.
Actually, a buddy of mine built an electric cigar box guitar, 3-string, open tuning, made to play slide, and I could play the hell out of that thing, but I swear to God, you could have thrown it downstairs and it would have bled blues chords as it went. I mean,
That's
you
crazy.
drop it and it's a Howlin' Wolf song. I don't know.
That's awesome. So you mainly do blues, or do you do like a variety of genres?
I try to play rock. I'm not good at it. I spend a lot of time trying to sound like AC/DC, and I can't do it.
Shit, yeah.
I can't play any AC/DC song well enough where you can tell what it is, but yeah, no good.
Hey, nobody's Angus Young but Angus Young.
This is true. This is true. Okay, guys. So before we move on, Josh, Casey, you guys have questions for the band?
Yeah, I was. What are your biggest influences as far as like favorite bands or anything growing up or now?
Oh, man, I'm massively into Fish and the Grateful Dead, just kind of the world of jam bands as a whole, but also share a love for, honestly, hip hop, rock, metal. Like it's just kind of grown over time. There was a point where I was very narrow-minded in the music that I listened to, and honestly, living with Luke just kind of expanded everything, broadened my horizons in terms of really what I listen to now. So really, I mean, Fish, Grateful Dead, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, just
Nice, yeah.
a few bands that I constantly listen to.
The OCs. You like the OCs?
for
You
sure.
introduced me to them.
Yeah.
Mac,
One
I
of my
think Mac has
biggest
like an
influences was Korn. Yeah.
that's the only band he
Disturbed,
listens
Limp
to.
Bizkit.
Disturbed. Yeah, I saw Disturbed in concert. Joey and I went to Springfield, and I still have tinnitus from that, and that was years ago. Because yeah,
Dude, I have injuries from being in a mosh pit at a Ramones show in like
Oh,
90, whatever year their last tour was, 96 or whatever.
That's awesome.
Jesus.
We were
That's
just
super
talking. We were just talking yesterday about how, like the bagpipes at the Corn show, how they're so loud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Korn and Rob Zombie was my first concert. I don't remember
Oh,
what it
that's
was. But
badass.
that was in
Oh,
Kansas City.
yeah.
It was awesome.
My
That's
first concert was Ray Stevens. I think I was about 8, and my parents took me. So, you know,
That's awesome.
the squirrel in the church and the it's me again, Margaret, or whatever song.
Yeah.
When people have
My-
that,
That's
what
good
was your
shit.
first concert? And people are like, oh, I saw The Clash, or, you know, oh, Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, yeah, Ray Stevens.
Mine was Kiss and Aerosmith in the 3rd grade, thanks to my
Oh, wow.
my dad.
Awesome.
I think for me, I was raised like my family only exclusively basically listened to like worship music, and so I think maybe that's part of why I gravitated naturally to like all metal all the time. And
Yeah.
I think like there's that sort of rebelliousness to it, and like that sort of like excitement you get when something shocks you, but it also has like that element of like a lot of metal is like pretty complex to play, and there's lots of notes on page, and so it kind of like being able to analyze it. And I feel like I almost view music like mathematically sometimes, because I'm a software developer outside of the band, so it kind of like, I guess it all just kind of like connects together. But basically like only metal in high school, and then like in college I started like basically meeting lots of different kinds of people and like doing more drugs and like just experiencing life more and going to parties and like hanging out with people, showing them bands, they show me bands, and very quickly I was like, oh my god, there's so much music out here I'm listening to. And so I kind of got into like a lot of like bands that everybody else listened to like 10 years prior, like System of a Down, like Nirvana, stuff like that, where it's like everyone else is sick of them and I'm like just getting into them kind of thing. But yeah, then when I met Mac, I think
there was a lot of stuff you made me or helped me take a second look at.
Yeah. I think through most of college, my favorite band was Meshuggah, which if you don't know, they're like the Swedish extreme like progressive metal kind of band. They call it gent, but it's kind of like a old term. But yeah, I'm really into like the more like I guess experimental kind of shit now. Like big like King Crimson fan and prog metal is really Between the Buried and Me.
Do you ever listen to a band, prog metal band from the late '80s, early '90s, Fate's Warning?
No, I haven't.
They did a concept album called No Exit that's inspired by the Sartre play, No Exit. But probably my favorite album of like 1992. Yeah.
Definitely send me a link.
Okay. Yeah.
Remind me.
Yeah.
I like 90s music in general. Like I'm a big Primus fan. And that was one thing that Mikey and I had in common. Also, Mikey and I both really big into like death metal and like I'm trying to think of a good like I guess deathcore, grindcore, all of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I think more recently I kind of am getting caught up on like punk bands, and I go in and out with like phases of really being into Dead Kennedys and Misfits, and I think Misfits is probably the biggest influence for me to have a little bit of a horror theme in our music, even though I wouldn't say everything is horror themed. It's so fun to like even take like mundane everyday things and give them sort of a horror like I guess metaphor. I don't know. I can't think of the right word, but
so you're talking about a lot of heavy stuff, but getting into punk. Are you guys interested in ska punk, folk punk?
Absolutely. Actually saw Days and Days a few years back, thanks to my buddy Devo.
Do you guys ever listen to Pat the Bunny? I'm like
that's one of Devin's favorite artists. It's our buddy Devin.
Yeah, absolutely insane for Pat the Bunny. Yeah.
That's super cool.
I know. This is like his world. This is.
I'm just listening.
What do you
yeah.
You're the music.
Josh,
dictionary.
what's the band that you're friends with that's famous?
Yeah, you run a band's Facebook page.
Oh yeah, Stabbing Westward.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
Oh yeah, I love
from
them.
the '90s. They're like an industrial metal kind of along the lines of like Nine Inch Nails and Ministry, that kind of thing.
I'm pretty sure
singing.
I'm pretty sure I've heard them. That name sounds really familiar. Did you listen
Shame
to?
is probably on the radio like all the time.
How did you come
Did you listen to?
their social media page?
I just one day me and my wife were just hanging out on Facebook in like 2010, and we were like, well, they don't have a Facebook page, so we made one, and we got like 200, 300 fans in like a span of like a month, and it just kept going, and then finally like the lead singer and the keyboardist both reached out to me, and they're like, hey. We like what you're doing, and then they ended up getting back together. They weren't even a band whenever we did this. So they kind of thanked me for all of this. Yeah,
that was crazy. You brought
really
it back.
screwed up.
You necromancer.
Yeah. Now they took ownership of the page, but they still let me be on it, so I can still like do whatever I want. And they actually sent me demos of their new album before it came out, because a couple of years ago I ended up in the hospital for liver failure. And they didn't think I was going to make it, so they wanted me to hear the album before I died.
Oh my god!
Ended up being here anyway, so I got to hear it before anybody else. It was pretty sweet.
Hell yeah.
That's kick ass.
And all you had
That's
to do
really
was
sweet
wreck
of
your
him.
liver and almost die. I mean,
I should have done that years ago.
yeah, right?
Did you ever listen to Godflesh at all?
I did listen to. I really like. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Jesus or the other project that Justin Broderick's in.
Yeah.
They got Ascension is one of my favorite albums from the last probably 10 years. I never really got into Godflesh though. Like that's one of their ones that I'll listen to a few of them. They did a concert for I think it was Hellfest that I saw on YouTube, and I didn't know the title of any of the songs, but it was a good time.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like they're a weird one. Like they're kind of hard to get into, but I feel like just that the way the drum machine and the way that they write the drum beats kind of gives it a little bit of that industrial kind of feel to it. And
Yeah,
I feel
definitely
like,
any kind of that. I like dipping my toe in any like Skinny Puppy and that kind of thing. Just
oh, Skinny Puppy's good. Yeah.
See, all we had to do is just poke Josh.
Yeah, I
to get him to
know.
stop
Hey,
staring at
Josh,
the camera.
Josh, who's your favorite musician of all time?
Frank Zappa.
That's right.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Just he could do anything. He could probably rap if he wanted to. But
Yeah, honestly.
if he lived a few more years, maybe he would have dipped into it. I don't know.
Oh, on the topic of punk, I wanted to say the two probably biggest punk bands I listened to last year, I would have to be Idols and Pup. Idols, if you don't know, is a British punk band, and they kind of like completely changed my view of punk because, and they're more recent, but they have sort of like they have elements of like other kinds of music. Like I feel like there's some indie stuff in there, but the punk is still it's very aggressive. But a lot of times it has sort of a positive message about like learning to love yourself and like taking care of each other. And but he's up there like screaming it basically. So they have this sort of like we're not fighting, we're dancing is like how they describe their mosh pits. It's just a collective sort of dance, getting together and having community. And I was like, man, like I just love that shit because I mean, there's a lot of negativity, and they have like negative songs too, but sort of that like, you know, fighting against that. You know, they have their second album's called Joy is an Act of Resistance, and that kind of fits the theme. They also have kind of like this, I feel like just the way the drum beats are, and like the songs are kind of like they're somewhat simple, and so it gives it kind of like this pub like kind of like you would see people like getting drunk and like dancing around, and they're just up on stage just like having a great time. Like I feel like it's just good vibes.
Nice.
So that's influenced like the second album quite a bit, I think, for me. But
So you want to go ahead and tell our listener, Frank, he's a good guy. I think you'd like him. Tell our listener where people can find your music. How can they download it? How can they buy it?
yeah, we have I think every streaming platform, like just so like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music,
Yeah,
like
but if you
Bandcamp.
listen on Spotify, you're getting fucked. So
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
what's it best for them to go to get your music? If you want to support the band, make sure that you guys get some money out of it.
I mean, ideally, you would like either buy a physical copy of the album or buy it on Bandcamp. But like, if you're gonna stream it, which I totally get because I stream a lot, like most of my music, or at least sometimes I stream it and then I buy the album because I enjoyed it so much and I want to support. But like, if you're just trying to stream it, I think Apple Music gives like the best cut of like per listen or whatever.
Okay. And where can we get a physical copy of your albums?
I'm working on an online store right now. Like I said, my day job is software developer, so I'm making a site for us with an online store, but it's not up yet. So you pretty much just have to come to a show,
Okay.
or if you message us, we'll get one to you. We'll ship it to you.
So you have CDs. Can I get it on vinyl though?
Oh, I wish.
Not yet. We're working on it. It's surprisingly difficult to get vinyl in small quantities.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
from what I can tell, you have to buy like 300 at once, and it's like we're not sure if we can afford that or like sell that many copies in a way that's going to be like where we'll actually even break even, you know. But we've thought about doing a little like sort of like a GoFundMe thing where it's like, okay, if we can get this many people to like pre-order the vinyls, and they'll come through, you know.
You should do that. Yeah, 100%. Do that. We will put it up on our website and our various socials where Frank and 8 other people will see it. So.
Hell yeah.
Oh
Oh yeah.
Thanks, dudes.
It's one of those things you're always like, are we good enough that people are actually going to buy this? And of course, I think we're good, but it's just like the insecurity that you have as an artist.
Yeah, never let that hold you back. Never let that hold you back. So we're over here
Sure.
having no idea what the fuck we're doing, and we just had Larry Fessenden on the show, who's a hero, and it looks like we're going to get Lloyd Kaufman from Trauma to come on. So we're talking to him.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be amazing.
He tweeted back at us. He had me.
He's been trolling us on Twitter.
He did troll us a little before, and he tweeted back at me. He told me to DM. I DM'd him, and he put me in touch with his personal assistant, and we're supposed to work out a date. So.
Oh, Papa Lloyd makes me so happy.
Yeah, and we're
That's
nobodies,
awesome.
and we have no idea what the fuck we're doing.
And
So.
we're working on having
We, okay,
John Stamos.
Yeah, we are going to get
John
Stamos.
Stamos?
Well, that's the plan. We want to get Stamos, but honestly, I have nothing to ask him. I just want to be mean to him until he leaves. Fucking Beach Boy
Yes.
wannabe. Go back and hang out
Sit
with
down
Dave
when you play the
Coulier, man.
drums.
Yeah.
It's nice to sometimes get those opportunities where you're like, wow, someone does notice us.
How
we
did it
we
happen?
played. Yeah, we played a show at Guitars here in Joplin. I don't know if you remember that song. It's well, what was their big hit, Mikey?
Click, click, boom. But
Yeah. We played. They're called Saliva, and they're like early 2000s hard rock kind of stuff.
Love Saliva.
Yeah, back in the early 2000s, I watched him probably 5 times in concert because they were in every festival. Like I didn't go to see them, but
Yeah,
They
were
opened
there.
for Kiss and Aerosmith when I saw them.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they play everywhere.
so yeah, getting to open for them was really cool, and it was a lot of exposure to like people who are like live in the same town as us, and like who the fuck are this band? Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
We've recently played with that newer rock band, Crowbot. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but they sound pretty good.
they're badass.
Played with them at Guitars as well at a different date, but yeah, it was a good time.
Cool. So, you guys want to spend a little time talking about Lair of the White Worm? Did everybody watch it?
Let's do it.
We did watch it.
All right. So, I'm going to give a little background for the folks at home, all 3 of them. So, Lair of the White Worm is Ken Russell's reimagining of Bram Stoker's novel, Lair of the White Worm, which was the last novel Stoker wrote. And it's often considered not just the worst novel Stoker ever wrote. It's normally considered the worst novel ever written.
Wow.
So Stoker was inspired by a British folktale, the Lambton Worm, which you may have heard a version of because it's very well known and floated around in many versions. Basically, the deal is the son of a lord skips church to go fishing. He gets warned by an old man that if he does this, something bad will happen, but he ignores the old man. And he goes off to fish and catches something that looks like an eel with odd shapes and holes on its head. And he starts to take it home, but then changes his mind and throws it in a well. The boy grows up and goes off to fight in the Crusades and comes home a hero of the Crusades to find that his father's fortune is mostly gone. The local village is mostly destroyed because the thing he threw in the well grew up and now it eats all the livestock and children. Whenever anyone tries to fight it, they get killed because no matter how much you cut it, any piece you cut off just reattaches to the thing's body and it keeps coming at you. So he decides he's got to do something about it, goes to talk to an old witch, and she tells him, you can kill it. Get a suit of armor, cover it in sharp spikes, and fight the thing in the river. But when you defeat it, then you must kill the first living thing you see. So he gets together with his dad. He gets his spiked armor and his good sword. He tells his dad, I'm going to blow my horn when it's dead. When I do that, release my hounds, and they'll come to me. And he's going to kill his dog to avoid whatever curse. So he goes out to fight the thing in the river. It tries to wrap around him. The spikes keep cutting pieces off of it, and the river washes the pieces away before they can reattach. And he kills the thing, blows his horn, and his dad is so excited he forgets to release the hounds, runs to meet his son, and the son can't kill his dad, so the whole family is cursed, and all of the lords in that line die horrible deaths. They live long enough to have an heir and then get eaten by a hawk or stabbed by a random person or something. That's the story. And you hear what that story is. Bram Stoker heard that story and went, I think this is about a man who wants to use mesmerism to rape a woman. And also there's a dragon. So bad book. then Ken Russell read that book and literally said to a friend, "This is the worst thing I've ever read. I want to make a movie out of it."
Perfect.
So that's how the film happened. So everybody's watched it. What do we think, guys? Let's go around. Who loved it? Who hated it?
Oh, it was amazing. Loved it.
I kind of liked it, honestly.
I'm
I'd
gonna
watch it
stop you
again.
for a second because I've got to do this. So Joey, you loved it,
I loved it. Great movie.
and did you watch it?
No.
Thank you. Yeah, anyone who actually see it, what did you think?
I'm excited to hear that there's actually like some actual folklore behind it, because we hadn't done any research about it, and that first scene, or not the first, it was one of the first couple scenes when they're in the tavern.
Oh, when they get to the
whatever.
big fest, like the festivities and the little.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, the festival.
Club.
There's a band playing, and they've got electric guitars, but there's no electric guitar in the song. It's all acoustic.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So that
we were wondering.
there is.
we were
if you
wondering
look
if-
it up.
oh, sorry,
There's
go ahead.
actually like a Middle English song about it, and I actually read it. It's very similar to that, except a lot of times because it's Middle English, it's like reading Chaucer or something. You're like, I
Yeah.
don't quite know what the fuck that's saying. I get this. That's kind of, but I don't know. But I think it's very similar to what he was singing. There's a lot of stuff about the
Oh.
weir and the people along the weir. So
That's really cool, because we were guessing. We're like, is this a real folklore thing? And of course, we didn't look it up. We just kind of were like, I don't know. I guess we'll never know.
so I'm gonna jump on Casey. Casey, you loved it, right?
It was okay. It wasn't a bad movie. The ending was awesome. That was the best part, because it had boobies, and she was walking around,
It had boobies.
showing her boobies, and that hot chick, I can't remember her name, Eve or something, was like hanging over the pit. I enjoyed all that part.
Catherine
That was by
Austin.
far the best part.
So
Yeah.
this is a fun thing. So everybody in this movie. So there's a lot of familiar faces in this movie. You've got Hugh Grant. You've got Peter Capaldi, who was Doctor Who for a while. You've got Amanda Donahoe, who was kind of a sex symbol for a while. But the Eve, Catherine Oxenberg, the studio demanded her. Ken Russell didn't want her. The studio demanded her because all those people I just named were total unknowns at the time. Nobody had any clue who they were. None of them could sell a film. They wanted someone famous, and she was on a soap opera. And quite honestly, I don't think she can act. She's like the weak link in that entire film. I mean, like,
It doesn't matter.
But-
Just look at her.
Oh, and another thing, that final scene where she's hung up like that, she's supposed to be nude but refused to do it nude. So they said, well, we'll have you in underwear. And she demanded some fancy bespoke silk stuff. And Kim Russell told her, no, we don't have that budget. You'll have to live with Marks and Spencer. So she's in cheap ass underwear from the cheap ass chain. Because
Yeah, I'm gonna trap you in my lair, and I'm gonna chain you up, and then I'm gonna put the most awesome underwear on you. That's like super silky and yeah.
Are you comfortable?
can I get you a pillow while we wait for you to be eaten by the snake god?
Yeah.
So, Josh, big fan, love it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I did like it a lot, and like Casey said, the ending was awesome. Had I not seen The Devils, which is another Ken Russell movie, I probably would have been a lot more lost. I've only seen 2 of his movies, but they all seem to have the same kind of framework. A lot of biblical references and deadpan jokes.
So he also directed The Who's Tommy.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I know 3 movies now.
So okay, but so you get that Ken Russell was insane, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
knowing that.
Yeah. So I love him because loved him. He's dead now. But he was not afraid to just fucking swing for the fences. And if he spun around and fell on his face, he didn't give a fuck. So
I think that was part of the appeal of the movie to me, was just that it was just surprise after surprise, and it's all over the place. It's confusing. It's just like, and obviously that can be a bad thing if you're confused at a movie, but for some reason I felt like it kind of worked. And like, I don't know how much of like the shittiness is like intended, but it just, it makes it enjoyable because you're just like, what the fuck? And you like seeing like the little tears in the green screen, like the chroma key where like it's not fully chroma keyed out correctly or whatever. And like there's all these little details. But Mikey and we actually got jump scared. They got us on one of the I think it was the first or second scene where the lady's face like morphs into like the vampire looking thing in the teeth. And we're like, oh
Yeah, he had just made me a drink and I got spilt that shit all over me.
yeah.
Well, see,
It was cool. Very
what
smooth,
always
like
got me is
transition.
when she's got the Boy Scout in the bath, and then she bites his dick, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
That was very shocking.
Yeah. So interestingly, Russell took the main cast, set them down, and showed them a bunch of old British comedy films, like Noel Coward type stuff, and said, "That's what we're doing. Act like that." So he made them all, this is comedy, act like it's a comedy. People should be laughing at this. And then, of course, nobody laughed, or the people that did felt like they were laughing because it was, bad. And he was kind of upset. He's like, this is a comedy. Why doesn't anyone understand this is funny?
The interactions between Hugh Grant and his butler.
Yes.
That is like primo comedy through the entire movie. Like oh, go draw me a bath. And then just the seductive look from the butler, like, oh, okay. It's so good.
And what's
The butler's voice.
This movie? So Hugh Grant, Capaldi, Amanda Donahoe, Oxenberg, Sammy Davis, everybody in this movie is a fucking snack. What's going on? I mean,
it's insane. Hugh Grant walking around he's wearing like a silky white vest with like silky white pants.
Well, and then Amanda Donahoe, when she's got the kid in the bath, her bra and panties setup is just like, who even owns that outside of porn? That's not real.
The latex boots that go all the way up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love how everybody is just so casually ready to sit on her floor. Like even when Hugh Grant comes over, it's like, oh well, I guess this is the only place to sit.
There's
just
nothing
chill.
Weird about the pillows on the floor, and also this 35-year-old woman playing shoot snakes and ladders.
Oh my god!
A game for preschoolers, I think.
Well, if you're so afraid of snakes, why do you keep playing the game?
She's like,
I don't know.
The writers didn't ever think of a reason. But is that a real game, Snakes and Ladders? I know Shoots and Ladders.
It's the English version. It's the
Gotcha,
same
okay.
game, but they have a snake instead of a shoot for some reason. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I did not know until this film.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing about the rich guy with the butler, I kept looking at him and thinking, like, he looks like the rich guy from Titanic. And I know it's not the same guy, but it's like, he's got a certain face and like the hair kind of thing going on.
It's
definitely Billy Zane vibe.
Yeah.
It's a type. It's definitely a type. So, Joey, my question for you is, how sad are you that you didn't see Amanda Donahoe naked? 'Cause, I mean, come on, she's hot and she's naked in this.
I'm not sad.
You would be.
I have porn.
This is better than porn. It's Amanda Donahoe. She was like almost a big star for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think the poster for this movie looks like ass. Like every poster you see for it, just looks
like
terrible.
Smushed.
Yeah,
Okay, but
it's smushed or stretched.
But I fucking love that when she hears the music, not only is she taken over, but she's in the fucking basket.
Yeah. I forgot about the basket thing. Just in case I get charmed at some point, I'm gonna need a basket.
Oh man, speaking of charming, the whole scene with the police officer.
Oh god.
After he succumbs to the whole thing and he's just being charmed via bagpipes through the entire front lawn.
But when Capaldi's gonna play bagpipes, he puts on his kilt.
Exactly.
That was even better.
Bagpipes without a kilt.
It's so good. All the way to the end too.
Yeah,
all throughout.
just to solidify that, yes, those are bagpipes you're saying, and yes, this is Scottish.
And he went from having a not very Scottish accent to start out with to having like a super harsh Scottish accent like
Well,
midway through the film.
He put on the kilt.
There you go.
It's the way it
changed
lets
it.
everything move. Your accent changes. Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's important that this film deals with something that not a lot of movies have the guts to do, and that is the truth that all Scots can play the bagpipes.
Hits the
in
nail
their
right on the
DNA.
head.
Yeah, it's in their DNA.
Yeah.
Speaking of Capaldi doing crazy things in this, I absolutely love the scene in the woods where, it's very sad that your parents have died. Do you have a boyfriend?
Oh my god!
And it just goes in for the
Died,
kiss.
And yeah, your
Yeah,
boyfriend's
not
dead,
even-
How sad.
Not even like I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Now we
yeah.
can kiss. Like it just, all right, this is my cue.
He's got the moves, man.
Yeah, it went right in.
Oh, that killed me.
So, what was everybody's favorite scene? Other than all the ones I just laughed about.
I like the very beginning where he first grabs that big head, the little head, and he just goes, yeah! And just that killed me immediately. I was like, this is gonna be amazing, and it was.
I like Eve hanging over the pit at the end was
Yeah,
still the
yeah.
best for me. And then they see that when you actually see the worm coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome looking.
Yeah.
I like the way they did the worm. Just it's coming up, just like Sarlacc pit kind of shit.
Yeah.
Either the whole sequence with Hugh Grant and his butler, like listening back and forth on the vinyl, trying to figure out which side of the Turkish record was going to actually work, or the very end.
Yeah.
Just with him and Capaldi kind of bullshitting, and then right as he shifts gears, it's perfect.
Big bite on his knee or whatever.
The look on his face is
okay,
just.
I absolutely love that he finds out that he got the wrong serum, but it worked.
that was good.
Why did it work? Why did the
That's
Irish
why
He
medicine
should not have
work?
stood up. It makes no sense.
And he even injected what's her name in the leg with it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It makes no sense.
So my house is like right by a train track. I think there's a train coming. So if I do stop talking, that's the reason.
Luke, the same train is going by my house right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It sucks because I work from home. A lot of times I get on Zoom calls, and as soon as I'm about to like present something, it's like, okay, well, actually, there's a train going by, and it's just loud as all fuck because there's one house and then a train track.
See, I come over to Joey's to do this because, well, actually, I'm right next to a train track, but that's not what concerns me. My 7 dogs will take turns barking while I'm
Holy cow.
Yeah, so
That's a lot of
That's a
dogs.
lot. Yeah, I didn't know you had 7.
I have 7. So I have to.
We got 1. That's enough.
I have the Malinois, the world's largest Malinois. I have the Pit Bull. I have the Corgi something mix, and then I have 4 Chihuahuas.
Oh, I love Chihuahuas.
I do not.
I'll take
evil.
one off your hands.
I have this bad habit of taking in dogs that need a home, and I have gotten inadvertently 4 Chihuahuas, and they love me, but
Feel like I can't stand you.
no, I like them. They're just a pain in the ass. Actually, it's specifically one of them. It is the smallest one. Her name is Fido, and she thinks she is the largest thing in the world, and she barks at everything.
Oh.
Like if
How
someone
much-
farts, she goes nuts.
And they could
How
be
much is your
too.
dog food
While
bill?
growing up, and it was mean as hell.
My dog food bill, you don't want to know, brother.
I can't imagine. If you can even find any, it seems like it's hard to find dog and cat food around here.
It's been a little tough. So the cat food situation was horrible, but it is getting better. Walmart's like restocking their shelves now.
It's good.
Good.
But so I have to buy dog food. I have to buy like 3 different size kibbles because
I've just been feeding my cat other cats for now. 'Cause
That works.
I'm actually reading that apparently you should actually be feeding your dogs human grade food. They will-
Really?
They will live longer. So dog food is a big scam. So about 100 years ago, the meat companies went, how can we make money after all the stuff we're throwing away? Let's tell people they need it to feed their dogs. And dog food was invented. Dogs evolved next to us eating our scraps, and so that's what they're actually, built to eat, and we're giving them crap instead. So you should be giving them a little boiled chicken, some vegetables, a couple of roasted potatoes.
Wet food is nasty. I've seen a video on how that's made, and it literally is just extras from a chicken or a cow, whatever, and you blend it all together, and it's just this sludge, this meat sludge. And it's like, I think human food now is probably worse for them than it used to be because of all the processes we do to it. But I feel like dog food has
the sodium and a lot of the fat. So they're saying like boil some chicken breast and and roast some vegetables and No, but the wet food is disgusting. It smells bad, and they love it more than anything in the world.
Yeah, it's not like that stuff's not processed too.
Yeah.
Hey, Joey, what were we talking about here tonight?
Dog food.
This was the dog food show we were doing, right? Don't know.
Dogfest podcast.
Dogfest.
Brought to you by Random Dog Food.
So let's see. I've got 7 dogs. Joey's got 1.5 cats.
1.5 cats.
1 cat.
2 cats.
2 cats. Joey has a cat, and then there is a stray that he just started letting into the house, and it comes and goes as it pleases. And so I say it's his cat. He says it's not. So
sprays wherever it wants to.
No, she's actually really good. I think she's somebody's
That's
cat,
good.
and she's just adopted Joey.
Oh,
she's actually
that makes
nicer
sense.
than his cat. So
Which is the one that hijacked our production the one week?
Yeah.
Was that his or the?
The stray.
That was the stray. That was Orangey. Walked across the keyboard and somehow took down the whole camera setup.
No, that's his cat.
Yeah.
My cat's a spoiled brat, but I guess that's pretty much any cat.
That's
I've got Pickles asleep right back over there.
Oh, hey.
Oh.
There we go.
Sweet. She's such a little fluff ball.
My cat's asleep on Nate's jacket on the floor.
Oh.
She probably peed on it. Marked it a little bit. The first thing I own that's got cat pee on it. So what are you gonna do? We also have like a dozen cats. So.
Oh.
Because my wife is insane. Now,
Holy cow. That's awesome.
We have a cat door. So it's not like they all live inside. They just come inside when they want, and then they leave again. So
They do as they please.
That kind of works.
Ones that don't go out, but
It kind of works better for cats, I feel like, because even though my cat's an indoor cat, I let her go outside when she wants to, as long as like it's not super cold or whatever. Because shit keeps her happy. Honestly, she gets like cooped up indoors, and she just like gets the zoomies to no end.
They need to go and murder something.
100%. Yeah.
It's all they live for is to murder something.
Bring you little presents on your doorstep.
I had one beautiful woodpecker in my backyard, and they slaughtered the fuck.
When you see those eyes expand, and you see the void in their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
So anyway, speaking of things that kill lovely things in the yard, snakes. So what's everybody's final thoughts on Lair of the White Worm?
Speaking of just snakes in general, I loved that almost every scene in this movie had some kind of a snake symbolism in it, like whether it be Eve tripping over the white vacuum hose or the white garden hose in the beginning of the movie.
Or Amanda Donahoe setting up in the tree like the serpent.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Tempting Eve. It's perfect.
That was good, yeah.
Speaking of being tempted, what was the deal with Amanda Donahoe in her stripper attire, but with what appeared to be a huge, sharp strap-on dildo?
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that.
And then nothing. I was just like,
Those just kind of showed up, and then it was just part of the movie, and there's no explanation. You're just kind of like, all right, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, it's like there was like one flash in one of those green screen scenes, but now it's just a part of the movie.
Those impalement, like those ladies who were impaled as it came down across the screen.
Yeah.
That was pretty brutal. That was like one of the probably more goriest parts of the movie. And then at the end, when she's about to, it looks like she's about to pierce the lady who's tied up, and she's like, "Actually, no, I'm just gonna drop you into the worm." Just kidding. And
I was like, why switch it?
Yeah.
The slow cutting of the rope.
Oh, you just when that dude comes over and just cuts that girl's hand completely off.
That was yeah.
She's just hanging on. You want her to let go. You have a knife. Just a stab normally would do that.
It took forever.
I was kind of pleasantly surprised that she didn't get impaled, but at the same time, there was that backside view of her, and I was just waiting for that to
To come
go straight through her
Yeah.
pelvis, basically.
And okay, so I was blown away by it's a flashback to the crucifixion for no reason.
Yeah.
A lot of nuns being raped for some reason. What the hell?
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like,
That was probably like the most intense scene in the whole movie, I think, and it was so early on.
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
As a
it
result of
changes
just barely touching some venom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of changes your mindset for the whole film. Because up to then,
Yeah.
it's Capaldi's goofy finding a skull, and these girls are telling you their sad story, and and it's brutal multiple rape scene. This isn't what I bought a ticket for.
Yeah. There was a close to the scene. I like the scene where she's walking through the house and she spits on the cross, and then she goes. There's a cool perspective trick that they do, and it's very specific. But when she's basically the skull is front and center, she's in like the background, middle ground. She reaches her hands up slowly like this, and the way her hands just sort of get larger, and I feel like that was a really cool little camera angle they did.
Yeah, it's a wonderful forced perspective. That skull seems so fucking huge, but
Yeah.
it almost felt like once she's fully in with the skull, and so everything's back to its right size in your brain, it still felt like the room was wrong. And I wonder if that room for that shot was like specifically built slightly off.
She was very tall, I noticed. I don't know if she's just a tall actress or if that, the ceilings are just, because, I noticed she would go up to the doorway, and she was almost to the very top of it.
But she had heels on through that whole scene, but they weren't the tallest heels. So I don't know.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time looking at her feet, so... What?
Oh, sorry. I was saying I like how her car has 3 windshield wipers. I've never seen.
What the fuck was up with that? I noticed that too.
What was that, an old Aston Martin?
I don't know. Well, I also like that. So this movie's like 85 or something, but I think all of the cars in it are like at least 20 years older. There's like
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like crazy European 60s cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about cars, but I was like, every car that went into frame, I was like, that's a sick car. I like that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Hugh Grant, his car, what was that? Maserati, maybe?
It was nice.
I'm actually not sure what kind of car that was.
Yeah.
Are you talking about kind of like the white and brown one with like the spare tire on the side?
Yeah.
And the thing was sweet. I am not a car guy. I wish.
I don't know a ton. But
Oh, me neither.
I'll recognize a Pinto if I see one.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. What else we got? Casey, Josh.
Yeah, it was good. I'd give it probably a 3 out of 5. It's I'd definitely watch it again. I think if I had some other shit I was doing while I was watching it, so I kind of missed out on some of the stuff, to be honest. But I definitely want to watch it again. And it was entertaining for sure. And Hugh Grant's always good to watch in pretty much anything. So.
Well, he's in Paddington too, so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe not that.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
You need to see Paddington
Pretty good.
too.
I've heard they're both really good.
It's actually insane. It's not. It has no right to be as good as it is. Yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
It's like a little stuffed bear, right?
Yeah, and he goes to prison.
Comedy, I'm guessing.
It's you just have to see it. It doesn't make any sense. I got forced to see it. My little nieces were like, "You have to watch this movie," and I'm like, "I don't want to watch this stuff." Right, how old are you kids now? You're like 5. Let's watch Jaws. But I don't know. So I watched it, and I'm sitting there going, "This is like quality drama. What the hell is going on here?" So,
God damn it, it's good.
yeah,
That's awesome.
It's highly
I remember-
rated, man.
yeah.
I remember
yeah,
when my. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just. I remember when my nephew showed me the Lego Movie for the first time, and I was just like, I love Legos, but I was like, this is just gonna be shit. And I watched it, and I was like, how the hell was that so good? Like, how was that such a good movie?
The whole thing is just like so practical and cool. I don't know. It's so real and tactile.
Oh yeah.
Freaking cool.
No joke. So again, the nieces, we took them to see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and it is the Shrek universe's answer to Logan. It's actually, I saw that in a review, and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Then I went and saw it and went, yeah, that's actually right. That's what it is. It's
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, I need to watch Logan first. I feel like everybody but me saw that movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it
I
actually.
haven't seen it.
As someone who is entirely sick of these bland, flavorless Marvel movies, I'll tell you, Logan is
Yeah.
awesome.
Have you any of you watched The Boys?
Yeah. I love The Boys.
Yeah.
I've heard about it. I've heard about the penis scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
There's several penises.
Yeah, there are a lot of penises in that.
Well, I'm talking about the dude where he gets shrunk and goes
Yeah.
inside.
Oh, yeah.
oh yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That-
Now, honestly, Herogasm is the thing you need to see.
What's
I
that?
haven't seen that.
With the big party they're having.
Oh yeah.
Soldier Boy shows up and
Yeah, that's I mean, I think out of all the like superhero stuff, that's the one that's really kept my attention. It's also kind of scarred me, I feel like, in some ways. I'm just like, God damn, this show's fucked up.
oh, so I love
But-
it. It's honestly, I'm bored with most superhero stuff because
Oh, yeah.
I find it all very reactionary. So I'm more of an Alan Moore kind of guy, like Watchmen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if
Watchmen's awesome.
superheroes existed, they would be fascist fuckers, and you should fear them. And so,
Right.
yeah,
And
okay, yeah.
I think the Watchmen does have an element of that, and I think they're probably, I don't know a lot of comics. I know there's probably a lot of other comics that are like that. But I think The Boys was like the first one to so like poignantly display it in that way, where it's like, I don't want to give spoilers away, but like when there's one character who loses someone close to him, and then the superhero who does that is just plastered on every billboard on this, and he just keeps having flashbacks of seeing this person basically explode into blood, and just imagining that all these superheroes are going to somehow just be completely benevolent all the time and like these perfect people is like so far, like there's going to be probably some good ones, but if any history has shown us anything, that kind of power is just going to turn you into an asshole,
With,
like more often than not.
ACAB includes the Avengers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Josh, you watch The Boys, don't you?
Yeah, I'm caught up on it. That's how I know there's several penises.
Well, yeah.
'Cause I didn't know if you were talking about the penis that like grew out real long and tried to attack him in
No,
the
I know there are
asylum.
multiple penises. I just knew the one. So definitely got to watch it.
Hold
Now
on.
you watch The Boys, not just Boys, right? Okay.
Oh, whoops.
Hold on. Point of order. Penises, peni, penum, penises. Okay.
Pinot Grigio.
No, wait. I've had that in my mouth. So,
Yeah, that tracks.
okay.
Smooth.
Anybody
With a nice
else?
finish.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
With a deep head. I don't know.
So, I don't, no,
All right,
not-
that's
no.
the show.
Notes of nuts.
You made me choke. Okay, kids. Anything else we want to go through before we shut this down?
Well, if we could maybe just be shitty and plug some stuff.
Fuck yes.
No, that's not shit.
Hell yeah.
Plug. And listen, so send me links and stuff because it'll go in show notes and on our website. And
Yeah,
our-
absolutely. Well, I think the main thing right now is we're working on a new single right now for a song called Killdozer, which is about the Killdozer incident with Marvin Heemeyer.
Sweet.
I believe it was 2004 was when it happened. But that's sort of we've been playing that song live for about a year, and it's every time we play it, we get all this positive feedback. So we're like, we got to get that out there so people can listen to it. And we're trying to do some smaller releases, because
So hold on, because I have a very important question. So
yeah, go for it.
Is this song on the side of the guy who built the Killdozer? I mean, is he the hero of the song, or are we treating this as...
The way I look at it is like this song is not meant to make a statement about the morality of what he did, more as it's supposed to be from his perspective. So like when I'm singing these lyrics, I'm like getting into character as Marvin Heemeyer essentially, because I haven't read like all the details. It seems like there is sort of the two different camps where it's like he's just kind of like the libertarian mindset, which is like he's just standing up for what's right, and then you have like the other side that's like I believe people have said that he just completely was like not like it was not justified, and that he was kind of just an asshole, and that he did actually try to like hurt people, because there's a debate about whether or not he was just trying to like destroy property to make a point, or if he actually wanted to harm people. I know there's he had like a little gun port in the Killdozer, and he would shoot like, I think it was like gas tanks, or like he was like shooting at things that would cause explosions. And so there is like, I mean, I would say I would have to do more research to form a full opinion. It seems like he's kind of more in the wrong. It seems like he's kind of a shitty person, but I think it's just kind of badass still. Like it's just like a story to tell.
I don't actually even know why he did it, or if it was right or wrong. All I know is that he built exactly one more Killdozers than any man before.
Yeah.
He celebrated.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's
the only man in history to cement himself within a steel coffin.
I mean, it's just whether it's right or wrong, it's metal. Like it's just like fucking literally metal, but like he's
literally
in the thing just knocking these buildings down and fucking blowing shit up, and then he's like, well, they caught up to me. This thing ain't moving anymore. Fucking shoots himself in the head and just end of history. But yeah, I hope that that's clear, that we're not trying to take a stance on it. It's more of just like, this is an interesting ass story, because that's how, like, on our first album, we have a song called Lizard King, which primarily talks about like Alex Jones and like lizard people theories and stuff like that. And it's not us like trying to be like, not us trying to support Alex Jones, obviously, but it's also not like, I feel like there's so little that can be said about that hasn't already been said a million times. So a lot of it is just kind of like poking fun more than
it's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. Like that song and the last song on the album both include like Alex Jones sound clips and things like that. And a lot of it's clearly in jest. Like
it's
not
kind of
supporting a lot of the points that he's yelling.
Well,
the song was kind of birthed
out of... He does have a very strong stance on gay frogs. And not a lot of people take a strong stance on gay frogs. So
I think the original intent of the song was to be basically like, from his, I'm like, from his perspective, I'm talking about like globalists and like lizard people and everything. And then by the end of the song, there's like this sort of shift where it's no longer that. Now Alex Jones is a lizard person himself, and he's like the true Lizard King, and that's kind of where the namesake of the song comes from.
Nice. So what else do you guys have to pimp today? Let's pimp together.
I guess just our tour dates. Like, we don't have a whole lot. I know this Wednesday we're playing at the Odyssey in Springfield, which is the downstairs stage at the Outland. So it's not the Outland Ballroom, but it's in that same complex. And let's see here. Yeah, the St. Patty's Day show in Blackthorn. March 17th. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like all of them off the top of my head. I know we're playing at Bricks and Brews in June and that's in Baxter Springs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just kind of keep an eye on those dates and keep
your
an
eyes
eye
on our social media.
Killdozer, yeah.
Yep.
I think, is there anything else I'm missing?
I think
I
that's
think everything.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's everything we got going on.
We're working on getting a music video planned soon, but we haven't we don't have anything to release on that yet.
Okay. Yeah. Message me all the links that you want, and they will go in the show notes and up on our website, etc. Because we very much want to get the word out. So.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
And
man.
if I could plug one more unrelated thing,
Yeah.
I just I think this week, a local metal band called Gravehuffer just released a album, and I played drums on the last track of the album. So the band's called Gravehuffer, and the name of the album is "Depart from So Much Evil," and so the title track is the last track on the album, and it's sort of a take on Dante's Inferno, and it's just this long ass fucking like. I want to say it's like 10 minutes long or something. Probably more than that, actually, probably 15 minutes or so. But basically, it's, Dante's Inferno retold, and like it has like a lot of black metal, sort of like lots of blast beats and high pitched screams and just brutal like noise sections. But then it also has like a progressive metal element to it, and it's kind of all over the place. And the drumming is just. It's weird as hell because that's the only way I know how to drum. But I did want to plug that and the whole album is really good. They've got one song about Andy Griffith going on a killing spree, and the first song on the album is the video for that. They use footage of the 1927 film Metropolis. That's the
Great film.
German expressionist, I think, is what that's called.
Yeah. Big fan. One of the earliest science fiction films. One of the earliest dystopian films too. Yeah.
It's amazing what they were able to accomplish with like such little resources.
Oh,
It's a beautiful film.
visually insane.
Yeah, love that movie. Yeah, absolutely. And
But
it's,
no joke, those Gravehuffer dudes are super cool.
Oh yeah,
Dudes.
Sweet.
they're like my dad's age, but they remind me of myself, basically.
Okay, hold on. So when you say your dad's age, what kind of age are we talking about? How old are these guys?
now you're gonna reveal that I don't know my dad's age. Damn it! I'm thinking like
normal.
early 50s, if I had to
He's
guess.
like a million.
So they're
He's
they're
a billion.
Super old. Like, oh,
Yeah.
God, older than dirt.
Well, you mentioned the Crusades earlier. That's actually
I'm going to be 50 this year.
Nice.
Hell
it
yeah.
happens to the best of us
Yeah, well,
and the rest.
you know what? I was planning not to, but somehow I just managed to stay alive. I don't know.
Hey,
What
50's the new 25.
happened.
50 is the new 49.
Now that I'll buy, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Young people. Jeez. All right. Okay, guys. So this has been Bloodfest, the podcast. We were joined tonight by the Eye Creatures for Josh, Joey. What's that other guy's name again? Casey. That's right. And me, Nate. I just want to say, be sure to check us out on the YouTube, and while you're there, click that subscribe button and maybe leave us a review. If you listen on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Podbean, Podbay, Jesus Christ, there are so many of those goddamn things. Wherever it is that you're hearing us, be sure to subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating. Check out our website at www.bloodfestpodcast.com. Follow us on the Twitter and the Facebook and the Instagram, and I think we're on the TikToks too. Check us out on Pinterest, weirdly enough. And anyway, Catchphrase.
Thanks so much.
Out.
Thanks so much for having us.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
thank you
appreciate it.
guys.